Let's talk about the one part of your house you never ever think about. That is, until you see that dreaded water stain on your ceiling. And then all of a sudden, that roof over your head is all you can think about. Yeah, replacing it can feel like this huge, complicated, and frankly expensive project. So today, we're going to break it all down. We're using a professional roofing guide to walk you through every single step of a quality roof replacement. Okay, let's get into it.
So first question, is your roof secretly failing right now? We're going to cover the whole shebang. First, we'll look at those subtle warning signs you might be missing. Then, we'll peel back the layers to see what a modern roof is actually made of. It's pretty cool. From there, we'll get into choosing the right materials, what a real professional installation looks like from start to finish, and finally, we'll talk money, the costs and warranties that protect your investment for years to come.
So where do we even begin? Well, the very first step is just knowing what to look for. Seriously, spotting a problem early can be the difference between a simple, manageable repair and a total catastrophe that's going to cost you a fortune.
Okay, a lot of these issues are the direct result of some seriously nasty weather. Hail can literally pulverize your shingles. High winds can rip away that metal flashing around your chimney. And once there's an opening, you know it. Water will find a way in. That's when you start seeing those leaks up in the attic, or worse, those ugly brown stains on your ceiling. And here's the real key. If your roof is over 20 years old, it is living on borrowed time. Ignoring these signs, well, it doesn't make them go away, it just makes the final bill that much bigger.
All right, so you've spotted a problem. But what are you actually fixing? You see, a modern roof isn't just a layer of shingles slapped on top of your house. Oh no, it is a complex, multi-layered system. So let's break down the anatomy of a roof, layer by fascinating layer.
Everything is built in layers. Think about it like this. First, you've got the decking. That's the wooden skeleton of the roof. Then, laid on top of that is the underlayment, which acts as its raincoat, a waterproof barrier. Then you have the shingles, which are like the outer armor, taking a beating from the sun, wind, and rain. And finally, you've got the critical details, like flashing and vents, that seal up all the gaps. Every single layer has a super important job to do.
Let's just zoom in on the underlayment for a sec, because it is the unsung hero of your entire roof. Your shingles are the first line of defense for sure, but this stuff is your final waterproof shield. And this is where technology has made a huge difference. Old school felt paper could tear and get soaked, but these modern synthetic underlayments, they create a much, much stronger and more reliable barrier against any moisture.
And now we get to the fun part, the part everyone sees from the street, the material. This is one of the biggest decisions you're going to make, and it's really a balancing act, right? It's between how much you want to spend, how long you want it to last, and of course, what you want your home to look like.
So architectural asphalt shingles are the most popular choice for a reason. They just offer a fantastic balance of cost and durability, and you'll get around 25 to 30 years out of them. But if you want something that'll basically last a lifetime, metal roofs can go for over 50 years. And hey, if you live in a place that gets a lot of hail, that extra cost might pay for itself in just one storm. Then, of course, you have the really high-end options, like slate and concrete, which can last over a century, but yeah, they come with a much higher price tag.
Okay, let's focus on the two most common choices people make. Architectural asphalt. This is a huge step up from those old, flat shingles. It's thicker, it's way more durable, and it just lasts longer. On the other hand, you have standing seam metal. It definitely costs more up front, but what you're getting is a roof that could last 50 years or even more, with way better resistance to things like hail and snow. It really comes down to a choice between that upfront cost and the long-term value.
Now, this is so important. You can choose the best, most expensive materials in the world, but if they are not installed correctly, they will fail. It's the installation process itself where a truly professional crew proves their worth, turning that pile of materials in your driveway into a fully integrated, weather-tight system for your home. So here's what you should expect from a professional crew. It all starts with a detailed inspection, not some quick quote yelled from the street. Then, within a week, permits and materials should all be in order. The replacement itself is actually surprisingly quick, usually just 1 to 3 days. And listen, the job is not finished until you've done a final walkthrough and that crew has done a thorough cleanup, leaving your property absolutely spotless.
The difference between a good roofer and a great roofer is all in the details. These are the things you might not even see from the ground, but they are absolutely critical. We're talking about stuff like hand-sealing shingles in high-wind areas, properly integrating the flashing, using the exact nailing pattern that the manufacturer recommends. It's these details that make a roof last for decades.
Okay, so we've covered the what and the how. Let's finish up with the dollars and cents, and talk about how you protect this major investment in your home for the long, long haul. So where does all the money go? Well, the biggest chunk of the cost, no surprise, is the materials you choose. Labor is the next major factor. A steep, complicated roof is just going to cost more to work on. The rest is for things like removal and disposal fees, and it's always smart to have a little buffer in your budget for the possibility of finding hidden damage, like rotten decking, once the old roof is torn off.
And remember, you are not just buying shingles. You are buying peace of mind for decades. A 25 to 50-year warranty? That's a promise that your investment is protected. Think of it less as a bill and more as an investment in the long-term safety and value of your home.
Now here's something a lot of homeowners don't realize. You actually have two different warranties. The manufacturer's warranty, that covers defects in the materials. But, and this is a huge but, if those materials are installed incorrectly, that warranty is completely useless. It's voided. That's why you also need a workmanship warranty from your contractor. It protects you from mistakes made during the installation. You absolutely need both to be fully covered.
Our source guide puts it perfectly. The #1 cause of new roof failure isn't bad materials. It's bad installation. Choosing the right contractor isn't just about getting the work done. It's about making sure your warranty is actually worth the paper it's printed on.
And once the professionals leave, you actually have a role to play in protecting your new investment. Don't worry, it's simple stuff. Keep the gutters clean, trim back any big overhanging branches, and just give the roof a quick look after a major storm. A little bit of proactive maintenance really goes a long way in preserving that warranty.
So we'll leave you with that question to think about. Is it just an expense, or is it a true investment? Because when it's done right, a new roof protects the very structure of your home. It can improve your energy efficiency, and it adds real, tangible value for decades to come. Thanks for watching.